I'm Robert Dutt from ChannelBuzz.ca here at VMware Forum 2012 in Toronto with Grant Aitken, Area Vice President for VMware Canada. Grant, thanks for taking the time.
Thanks, Robert.
One of the things you guys have been talking about, certainly here and back to a month ago in VMworld, is the idea of the software-defined data center. And software-defined everything seems to be a real trend this year in the tech world. But I wonder if you can just take a minute and sort of give us a rundown on what constitutes the software-defined data center.
Sure. So the software-defined data center, at least in VMware's definition, is really a data center where everything is scalable, manageable, and frankly automated based on software rules rather than physical hardware rules. And so what that really does is fulfill the VMware's vision that has started with x86 server virtualization, but now extends to both the compute and the network layer.
How does it change what your partners are doing and what they're thinking about when you add that additional, or extend, I should say perhaps, that layer of abstraction from the virtual machine to sort of the virtual data center?
Well, what it means, I think, for the partner ecosystem, of course, is that first of all, the partner ecosystem grows exponentially because, of course, it means that all players in the data center associated with any of those three major elements, but also the security element, the management element, the automation pieces of it, all need to come together and work within that context. And so when you look at sort of technology partners, certainly it means that VMware continues to grow and work closely with those major vendors. But when you look at delivery partners, that mix also changes. It changes the skill set required from the traditional resellers of the bits and pieces, but it also changes because, of course, we're adding more and more service provider style partners that start to make that real as you look at the internal cloud, external cloud, and the hybrid cloud that sits in between.
Certainly one of the things we've seen at VMworld and here today is the idea of the ecosystem, the broader community of partners, both technology partners and service provider partners, as you mentioned, and especially with that latter category taking a more important role. What do you see as VMware's role in building those kinds of connections between technology partners and service provider partners to facilitate these solutions that we're talking about?
Sure. So I think the one thing that VMware's done a very, very good job at is straddling that line between, let's call it kind of the open source world and the pure commercial world. Early on we had our community source initiative, which ensured that everything we did was, although built on obviously commercial software, was open enough that people could leverage other technologies, plug other technologies in. And I think we've sort of continued that. Frankly, the acquisition of Nicira is an example, which obviously is a key part of some of the OpenStack initiatives, our own application to join the OpenStack consortium, all kind of builds towards what we've been trying to do here, which is really kind of complete that vision associated with kind of IT on anywhere, anytime, and delivery in the form in which customers want.
All right. You mentioned Nicira. Certainly the product suite that VMware is bringing to market is expanding both through acquisition and organically. Given that rapidly changing landscape, I'm curious if there are any, or what you see as the biggest underserved or under-realized perhaps opportunity for your partners to go after in the Canadian market.
Yeah, so I would say that the biggest challenge, frankly, is that with the rapidly evolving portfolio comes a very rapidly evolving demand for services around that. And so I think, frankly, the opportunity just continues to grow because of the growth in the size of the opportunity that needs to be delivered against here. What VMware's doing what we can to ensure that we're pushing out enablement and IP to our partner base, and that includes not the traditional kind of reseller partner, but also the ecosystem of technology partners and service provider partners, to ensure that we're helping them get to a point where they can deliver value to the end customer set. And so I think that's both the biggest challenge, but also obviously the biggest opportunity.
All right, great. Thanks so much for your time.
Good. Thanks, Robert.